Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland.
Oh boy, let's do this. Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I wouldn't doubt it. But, I mean...
You were supposed to bring death to the flagships, not join them.
Google has found a new way to piss me off.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
Every time I say it, it's going to suck even more.
May I present to you the cat?
I am Medela. I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing. Welcome, everyone, to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your host, Wes, and I'm here with Landon.
Hello.
And Caleb.
I'm not hosting.
Yay.
Yay.
It's true. I've been gone for a little bit. Recently had an addition to the family, so been busy.
A new puppy.
Busy on
Oh,
that.
wait, no. That was...
It's a new puppy. We got a snake. No.
Too bad the
nope,
snake
no.
ate the new baby. No.
The snake.
Oh.
Sad day.
Sad
Ooh.
day. Did it eat the baby puppy? Is that what you're saying? Or no?
You can interpret that however you want.
Fair.
This is why I don't live in the tropics.
Yeah. Me, dude, I could not. Like the humidity and
No, the humidity would kill me.
I lived in Florida for a couple years. I'm good. I don't need to go back.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about Florida, listener. We're here to talk about all things tech that's going on this week. And thank goodness for these two, because they've definitely been keeping up with all this. I've been kind of dead to the tech world for a little bit, and me coming back to this, I'm like, wow, there's been a lot of things, and wow, this is amazing. So if I ask questions, listener, that's probably not just for your sake. It's also for my sake.
Listener, you might be able to answer some of these questions that Wes has, because we did talk about something.
Yeah. So we'll see. So let's get into our first thing here on the table. We got some Apple news here. We got the redheaded stepchild got a new via press release. Oh my gosh. Is this one full sentence here?
Yep, that is
Holy
the
cow.
headline.
Okay.
And listener, if you're unaware of Apple's redheaded stepchild, let me introduce you to a product called the iPad mini. It is an iPad that is smaller than all of the other iPads in terms of its screen size. It got a new, it's been renewed. There's a new version. Yay! Version 7, I think we're on now.
Yay!
Yay! You don't have to fake it, Wes. It's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was helping.
No. Nobody else cares about this thing either.
Okay.
Including
You know what?
Apple. So
The iPad mini used to be my favorite iPad, and it
yeah.
probably still would be. But it's like, at that price, I'm like, why don't I just get an Air?
Exactly. That's the real issue with this thing. So iPad mini 7. There's not much to talk about. Last year saw a major redesign, or last year, what am I saying? 4 years ago,
The last
saw
version.
a major redesign of the iPad mini, and that design has not changed. It's the exact same design. You know, they didn't even like shrink the bezels on the display or anything like that.
Or add Face
everything.
ID.
Nope. Yeah, that's all. Nothing changed there. The hardware is identical. However, they did update the processor to the latest A17 Pro. Not the A18, which is brand new in this year's iPhones, and this came out after this year's iPhones, and there's really no reason that they couldn't have developed it alongside this year's iPhones to have the A18, maybe not even the Pro version, just the A18 in it. But no, it's the A17 Pro.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
And you know what's also great about that is, now I haven't looked into this too much, but from what I heard is these aren't even like full A17 Pro chips, because they're
no,
like,
they're not.
They're like the ones
That's
that
my
weren't good enough
favorite
for the
part.
iPhone 15 Pro, or 15 Pro that came out last year. These
Yep.
were the binned versions of those chips, so they're good enough.
These were the defective versions.
They're good enough to still call them the A17 Pro, and they will run Apple Intelligence. But that's
They
Yeah.
have a 5-core GPU
Yeah.
instead of a 6-core GPU that was on the A17 Pro, which, listener, is 1 core less. I'm not sure if you could do that math for yourself, so I did it for you. So that means that this thing is slower than last year's Pro iPhones, and it is 100% a case of Apple going, we have a whole bunch of these A17 Pro chips that are almost good enough to go into iPhones, but not quite. What should we put them in? Oh yeah, the iPad mini. We haven't updated that in a while. And so when I wrote the headline that Apple released a new update for the redheaded stepchild via a press release, I meant it. This thing is getting no love, like no actual pants love.
To be fair, it has gotten more love than the Apple TV.
Has it? I think the Apple TV's been updated more frequently than this. Now, granted, they only do a processor bump in the Apple TV. That's all they've done for the past few times is just like, hey, it's getting a slightly newer processor. So, about the same type of thing as this. It is going to be getting 8 gigs of memory, which is a requirement for Apple Intelligence, and you can bet your butt that if it wasn't, then it would not be getting that. No. There were a few other minor changes. It's getting slightly faster USB-C port, and it's getting new Wi-Fi chip, and there was one other thing. I don't know. Very, very small updates, improvements. Oh, right. Yes, it now starts with 128 gigs of storage instead of 64.
That is nice.
Kind of rough that it was starting with 64 gigs as the base storage before considering it costs $500.
Yeah.
So, that's better. But yeah, so the iPad Mini 7, it's here. Yay.
And the only reason it's here is because Apple needs to have Apple Intelligence on all of its devices, so they need to have
I think the only reason it's here is because Apple needed to get rid of some A17 Pros that weren't quite good enough for the iPhone. I genuinely think that if it weren't for that, they wouldn't have updated it.
I mean, that's definitely part of it, but I still think I think they want to get Apple Intelligence to be on as many devices as possible. And they thought, well, that's the cheapest way to get the iPad mini running Apple Intelligence is to throw a binned processor from last year into this device.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Yep, that's true. Because, yes, the iPad Air and the those, other fancy, super thin iPads they call them iPad Pros, but those really should have been the iPad Air. Where, those have M series processors, so they can run Apple Intelligence. That's not a problem. And then there's, the normal iPad, which may not even be getting an update this year. Possibly. Yeah. That's kind of up in the air right now. And that thing, nobody cares if that runs Apple Intelligence. Let's be honest. If you bought that for any reason other than watching, TV shows in bed, I think you may have bought it for the wrong reason. Just, So, yes, that's that. Good times. New iPad, sort of. Apple grudgingly updated it. And so we'll see another update for it in about 2029.
Yeah, fair.
That's my prediction.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Fair. Well, you were talking about this Apple Intelligence thing.
Yes.
Yes. And apparently it's still rolling out,
theoretically. So iOS 18.1 introduced some Apple Intelligence features because Apple told us that, yes, iOS 18 is not going to launch with Apple Intelligence. It's going to be added later via an update. And so 18.1 came out and there were some Apple Intelligence features and people looked at it and went, where's all the rest? And so Apple's like, yes, it's coming later via an update. And betas of 18.2 are out now, and you can mess with them and stuff, and they have some additional Apple Intelligence features. Not all of them yet, but some. It's happening.
It's my favorite part is like they're treating these point updates like full updates because beta 1 or no 18.1 had 7 different betas. That's not
Yeah.
normal for a
I mean-
point update.
To be fair, if you're looking at the developer branch, like developer updates, developer betas for the point updates, they sometimes get up that high, but it's the public betas that has been really interesting because
Yeah.
Apple is pushing a lot more public betas of the point versions, or of
Yeah.
18.1 at least, than they have of any of their previous 10th updates, because typically the public betas, you get one of those.
Yeah.
For each of those updates, and it just runs until the Golden Master and it releases, and that's it. But they've been pushing public betas out just about as frequently as they have developer betas, and they're really look, no, it's coming. We swear it works. We didn't just make everything up at WWDC. Promise.
Wow, this is really sounding a lot like a company we make fun of a lot, Microsoft Windows 11.
Yes.
We promise these features are coming.
This is the Windows 11 of the phone world.
Yeah. The other bad part about this is every single iPhone 16 commercial, all they advertise about it is Apple Intelligence. Like,
Apple
they don't talk
Intelligence.
about the new cameras or the camera. Well, I guess every once in a while I'll see a commercial about the camera capture, or
The little button
whatever
thing.
button
Yeah.
that they call a camera control. That's what it's called. Every once in a while I'll see that, but 99% of the commercials I see for the iPhone 16 are just Apple Intelligence. That's it.
Yep.
And you can buy an iPhone 16. Those features are not there, and
They're not there.
won't be for a while if they ever roll out.
Yep. Good work, Apple.
Ugh.
You're really knocking it out of the park with this whole update cycle. Hopefully we do in fact get our, fall Macintosh computer update event thing, and that makes me feel less bad about everything.
It won't.
Maybe.
That'd be nice.
Oh, jeez. Is that everything you want to talk about on that Apple Intelligence?
Yeah.
Okay.
18.2 is coming sometime. There might be new features, maybe.
So, and then the next thing here, behind the scenes of the World Series on TV Plus.
Yeah. So Apple TV Plus is a thing that Apple does, listener. Again, not sure if you were aware of that. They advertise it a lot.
I know
I
that
don't-
interrupted, but isn't it?
Here's
is that
the
popular?
thing with TV Plus. TV Plus has 4 or 5 really well-reviewed, well-respected shows, and I would say 2 that have been gigantic successes. You've got Ted Lasso, which, listener, if you haven't watched Ted Lasso, go find some way to watch Ted Lasso. It's genuinely the best TV show that has been released in probably the past 15 years.
It's fantastic.
Not even hesitating to say that. It is so good.
I'll have to figure out a way to watch it then.
And then I haven't watched Severance, but the first season of Severance also gigantic runaway cult success. Everyone loved it, critics loved it, audiences loved it, and that kind of thing. So TV Plus has some really good stuff in it, but then there's also just a lot of other stuff that is why is that there? And some of their really big ticket items just didn't they'd get nominated for Emmys, they'd win Emmys. They were, getting a couple of their movies got nominated for Academy Awards and stuff like that. Critics liked their stuff. They seemed like it was doing well, but I don't think audiences were really showing up for it. And I don't think that the service has been super popular overall. I think that most people who are watching TV Plus are watching it because it came for free with the purchase of a device. They bought an iPhone and they got a year of TV Plus or 2 years of TV Plus or something like that. Just automatically came with it. They watched it for a year and canceled it after that. Or they're subscribing to Apple One because they want to pay for Apple Music and iCloud. And by the time you're paying for both of those two things, then you may as well just pay the subscription to also get Apple Arcade and TV Plus. I think that's where the majority of their user base is coming from. That's the camp that I'm in. I have TV Plus because I'm paying for Apple Arcade and Apple Music.
Gotcha.
If it wasn't for that, then I would not have it, but the combined price of Apple Arcade and Apple Music is the same as the family tier of TV or of Apple One that includes TV Plus and some iCloud storage. So, that it just is what it is. I think that's how it's working for them. But in one of the, several different ways that Apple is trying to get people to actually turn up and watch Apple TV Plus, they have a partnership with MLB to this year for the World Series. They're going to be doing a behind-the-scenes docuseries that is tracking the teams that are, playing the World Series and favorites to win and so on and so forth. Just kind of going into the details on that. So if you're really big into baseball, I'm not judging, mostly. I liked The Sandlot. It's a good movie. And that's about where my fandom of baseball ends. But
you're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's a thing on TV Plus. If you really want to watch that and you have an iPhone, you probably have a TV Plus subscription. It came with your iPhone. You should use it to watch this docuseries about the World Series, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I guess that's still moving in some direction.
It is moving in some direction. We'll see how it plays out for him long term.
Let's see. All right. Enough of that Apple news. We got some Google news here. Ladies and gentlemen, Android 15 is here.
Yeah, it is. I can't tell you how it is, but Wes can. Ready go. No, just kidding.
Ready, go. I mean, you want me? I'll tell them my issues I've been having.
I mean, you know what? We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
So, like Wes said, Android 15 is now available to Pixel devices. If you have a Pixel 6 or newer, you will have access to Android 15. It basically, I mean, we've already talked about all the features that are in Android 15 when we had Google I/O, but the biggest things that I wanted to mention that I think are actually really cool to have are theft detection, remote lock, and then they finally also added what they're calling private space, which is basically focus mode that's on iOS, but the Android version of it, so you can set up not a different profile, but a kind of different profile for different, you can set up private space for work where it'll only show certain apps that you want to use during work, or apps that more particularly that you don't want to use during work. It's most likely what you want to have it set up for, but things like that. But the theft detection and remote lock are really nice things. The theft detection, it basically will use the gyroscope and other sensors to notice if it's been ripped out of your hand, or all of a sudden, it starts moving really fast for some weird reason. It will lock itself so it can't be opened by anybody other than you, pretty much. And then also, if that for some reason doesn't happen, you can remote lock the device and also remote wipe it, which also really nice features. These type of features have been in iOS for a while, and it's basically made it so stealing an iPhone is not beneficial to anybody anymore. And so doing this on Android is going to basically do the same thing there, where if somebody steals your phone, it is going to be useless to them. It's going to be a paperweight that they can't do anything with. And I like that. It's really nice. A lot less incentive for somebody to try and steal your phone if they can't do anything with it.
Yeah. True. Now we just need to get that so that they stop selling them for parts, which is what they're doing now. They take it apart and then start selling the parts. And Apple's trying to make it so that the components of your phone are activation locked, so that if somebody buys your screen off of the black market and installs it into their phone, then their phone will boot up and go, sorry, can't use it.
Interesting.
So we'll see how well that works. Yeah. I suspect it's going to be a pain in the butt.
It's possible.
Probably. Now, there have been some issues, and particularly Wes was talking about this before we started recording, so I'm going to let Wes tell you about the issues that he's been having with Android 15.
Well, I mean, just the quick things I noticed. I wasn't really diving deep, but first thing off is I got it installed, and then the first boot up, it took about 3 seconds after I would click to get into an app or push back out of an app or any kind of function. It would take about 3 seconds for it to do that thing I wanted to do. So like if I click the app, 1, 2, 3, then it would boot it up. Then I'm like, oh, I want to hit back or exit out of it. I would hit the button, wait and watch, and then it would, after 3 seconds, I could see that it would register my finger to hit back or anything after 3 seconds and then do it. So after 3 resets, it finally kind of, all right, started working better. But now the issues I'm having is more so when I'm connected to Wi-Fi. So if I'm connected to Wi-Fi, there's lots of times I cannot send or receive phone calls as well as text messages. And that's any text message, SMS or the RCS. It'll say it sends, and then it just says, oh, can't send. And so I have to turn the Wi-Fi off. So if I want to make a call, but still use Wi-Fi, because where I'm at, sometimes the service isn't the greatest for cell. So I have to turn off the Wi-Fi, send the call, make sure it's ringing, then turn the Wi-Fi back on. And then it'll do that, as well as sometimes text messages. So, yeah. So currently that's the issues I've been kind of messing with right now on that. So not that great.
Yeah.
Totally normal.
It's totally normal.
Everything's fine.
It's fine.
That's
Expected behavior.
Yes.
First world problems, I guess, right?
So, I mean, hopefully I haven't seen anything about that yet elsewhere, so it may not be a widespread issue. Sorry, Wes. But hopefully it works itself out, and hopefully it isn't a widespread issue, so more people don't have these type of issues. There's always going to be bugs with a new operating system when they roll it out to more people. They're going to find where all these bugs come from, and hopefully there will be fixes for these type of things shortly. Usually there's another, like a point update of some sort in the next, like within a month or so of major OS releases. So if you are having issues, listener, sorry to hear that. Hopefully that will be a fix soon. But yes, Android 15 is available for Pixel devices. Ready to go.
Yep. Super, super fun. All right. Next, now let's talk about Android 16.
Yeah. We're done with Android 15. That's old news. That's
we're already done. It's out.
That's so 2024. We're going to move on to Android 16 because
welcome to tech world, right?
I mean, once the Pixel 9 was launched, we started seeing rumors about the Pixel 10 because obviously, that's just how the tech world works. Well, that device is now out. We got to move on to the next one. That's just how it has to be.
Good grief. We had rumors about next year's iPhone before we even had this year's iPhone announced.
It's true. I mean, we had rumors about the 2027 iPhone before this iPhone was announced.
That's true.
Yep.
Gotta love tech news. It's amazing. Anyways, Apple. Nope. Android. Goodness.
Try again.
Android 16 supposedly will launch earlier than usual. So the last, I don't even know how many years, it's been a while, but the last little while, Android has typically launched around this time of year, in the fall, October, sometimes as early as September, but usually right around now, which is obviously what's happened with Android 15. But Michel Ramon, he's a writer he writes a lot of different tech publications. But he has dug into the Android 16, like AOSP type. I think it's in Android 15, but it's suggested that the next major release of Android 16, or Android basically, so Android 16, could come as early as Q2 2025, which means summer. So that's interesting. Again, this is just rumors based on code found in the source code of Android 15. So we don't know, obviously, for sure. Of course, Google's not going to come out and say anything about this until I.O. Then they might. And one thing that will be a major tell about this is if we start getting betas for Android 15 or Android 16 in like January, because we've been getting them in March is when they've started to roll out, and then subsequent update or betas have been coming out after that. But so if we get a beta for this in like January or February, that's probably going to be a good tell that it's coming earlier. I mean, I don't hate that that they might release Android 16 earlier. It might actually mean that the new Pixel phone will be launched with the new operating system, unlike
Wouldn't
this
that
year.
Be nice?
Yeah, weird how that would work. So there is that. The other thing that he also found, which is really tech nerd adjacent type stuff, the stuff that I tend to care about, and well, I don't even really care about it. I just find it interesting. So, listener, we've talked in the past how Google used to name their Android versions after different sweet treats and desserts and stuff like that. And then the last few years, they've kind of gone away from publicly acknowledging that sweet treat. They just had it in like inside of Google. They would talk about what it was. So like, Android 12 was snow cone, and they went alphabetical. It started with A back in the day, like early Android, and went, so Android 12 was snow cone, 13 was tiramisu, 14 was upside down cake, and then Android 15 internally was known as vanilla ice cream. So if they were to continue that, Android 16 would be W. There's not a whole lot of options with W, but there are a few. But
wafer, I don't know.
Wafer has been suggested. Even like someone said waffle. I'm like, that's not really.
We can have dessert waffles. I think
you can, but it's not typical. But I mean, I
don't know. I mean,
I'd allow it because I love waffles.
The way that most people eat waffles and pancakes in America, they're basically desserts. Let's be honest.
That's
like
fair.
It's got a lot of like sugary just stuff on it, and like syrup is very, very sweet, and it's kind of a dessert.
I mean, sugar or syrup, if you make it yourself, is basically just sugar melted down.
It is
with flavoring added to it.
Yeah. No, and listen. I love dessert for breakfast. That's
Me
like,
too.
Look, pancakes, waffles, freaking cinnamon rolls, coffee cake, like, absolutely, those are my breakfast, man.
Now you're making me hungry. Anyways, but apparently, according to this code that's been found, this one might be being referred to as baklava. It's a B, and that's interesting. So first thing, they're going off course. It's not W. And next, it's not A. They're not going back to the beginning. But that's also because apparently, like I can't remember exactly which name, but like if you look at the Android 15 main like product name, that's like a bunch of letters and numbers. They've always started with this letter, going forward. Last year actually didn't start with a V. It started with an A. So that would make Android 16 starting with a B.
Oh.
But it was already too far along before they put that name to it that they had the V vanilla ice cream name inside of Google. So they didn't change that, I guess, is what Michel Ramon has reported. So he's also said that would, like, it did have A in the name somewhere, in the code name or whatever. And then this one is going to be B, and it's going to be baklava inside of Google, so there's two things that I don't like about that. One, they're not continuing on with the naming scheme that they've had, but they also just kind of skipped A. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't hate that they're going back to the beginning. I just wish they were actually going back to the beginning. But I also wish that they would have finished the alphabet first. Especially considering the parent company is Alphabet. They should know that the English alphabet doesn't end at V. Come on, Google. Get with the program.
Oh, man.
But I mean, that's all we have currently right now with Android 16. The most interesting aspect of it, obviously, is that it may be coming in Q2 of 2025. And so that I had to mention that. But then because of the other stuff, I'm like, well, this is interesting to me, so I'm going to mention it.
Fair. That's good.
They should know.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and move to general tech news here. The FTC announces click to cancel rule.
Yes, listener, and this is fantastic. So, a couple episodes ago, Caleb and I mentioned how in California there was a new law passed, basically this, making it so different companies that offer subscription services have to make it easy to cancel their services. So
Amazon.
Amazon's one that we mentioned.
Amazon.
I think Adobe was the main reason for this because they are notoriously they're almost worse than like Comcast and those type of companies when it comes to canceling things. And so it was mostly Adobe that caused this thing to happen. But now the federal government, Federal Trade Commission for the United States has come out with a new rule that will go into effect. I haven't seen a date, but it says 180 days after, it says the rule takes full effect 180 days after publication to the Federal Register. So whenever that happens, 180 days after that, these companies will have to provide easy access to canceling. So some of the rules that are in this rule, weird way to say that, but that's how it is. I'm just going to read this little fact sheet that the FTC put out on their website. It says, this rule is helping the FTC get money back to people who are misled and addressing common problems such as sellers who don't tell the truth or leave out necessary information, people who get billed when they didn't agree to pay, and sellers who make it hard or impossible to cancel. So that's really nice. It also says under the FTC's amended negative option rule. So this is the negative option rule is something that was put into place in 1973. They are just basically updating it to more modern times with modern services and different things like that. But some of the amended rule, some of the changes in there is companies have to have important information. It says important information must be truthful, clear, and easy to find. People have to know what they're agreeing to before they sign up. Sellers have to be able to show that people knew what they agreed to before they signed up. And there always has to be a way to cancel that's as quick and easy as it was to sign up. So if you sign up online, click to cancel. If you signed up in person, cancel online or over the phone. And violators can be liable for redress and civil penalties. So basically, they're going to have to pay if they don't do these things.
Mm-hmm.
So I absolutely love this. It's fantastic. It's going to make it's one of the most consumer friendly things that the FTC has done in the last 20 years. It's great.
Seriously.
Yeah. It's like, just listener, think of the last time that you signed up for, I don't know, cable internet or satellite TV or something like that. A process which was done entirely via your web browser and took about 2 minutes. Now think of the last time you had to cancel that cable internet or satellite TV or whatever, a process that likely involved a 2 to 3 hour phone call and or a drive to an actual physical retail location to return materials or just beg for somebody to please cancel your service and stop billing you every month and that kind of thing. Like, this is the kind of imbalance they're trying to redress. So basically, if Comcast wants you to be able to sign up on their website in 2 minutes, they have to make it so that you can cancel on their website in 2 minutes. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so happy about that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to let everyone know that is now going to be a thing. So hopefully your subscription life will be much, much better in the future.
And for all of the subscriptions out there where it genuinely is just about as easy to cancel as it was to subscribe already, thank you. for
Yes.
being the good guys in this situation.
Yes.
We recognize and appreciate it.
That is good stuff. Finally, FTC, you got one. You
Yeah.
got one.
Yep.
All right, moving on. Finally, a Kindle with a color display.
Yeah, and this is not the Kindle Fire, listener, because obviously those have color displays.
To be clear, we're not talking about the Android tablet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean,
The actual e-reader.
yes. And you might think, well, hasn't that been a thing already? Well, technically, no, because Kindle branded e-readers have not had color e-ink displays. Other companies have been making those for at least 5 years at this point. So why Amazon didn't, I don't really know, but they haven't. But now they finally did announce a new e-reader. It is called the Kindle Colorsoft. That's what it's called, the Kindle Colorsoft. And it does offer that e-ink color display. Also, interestingly enough, well, USB-C charging, that's not interesting, but it does have USB-C. Wireless charging is a nice little feature. And it does have a front light on it so you can read in the dark as well. And they do say it's a cool to warm front light, so you can change the color on there. If you want it to be a little more of a blue light, you can have that, or a little more of a yellow, warmer type light, all depending on personal preference and how and where you're using the device is how you're going to want the light on there. But I normally wouldn't talk about new Kindle devices because, yes, it is technically tech adjacent stuff, but it's just, I mean, everyone knows e-readers, what they are, what they do. They're great.
Yeah.
But they haven't really had a lot of change in the last ever, really, especially when it comes to Amazon. So something like this, I do really like that. The price on the new Kindle Colorsoft is $280. So more expensive than your typical Kindle, but you're getting the color display and little other nice quality of life features like USB-C. I do believe the other ones have USB-C as well, but the wireless charging is really nice.
I will say, just on the Colorsoft specifically, if you have a large library of digital comics, this is probably the device, or something else that has a color e-ink display on it. Because, yes, you can obviously read them on an iPad and you're getting the full color experience, but it is different than reading it off of an actual page. And these color e-ink displays do a really good job of kind of mimicking that physical, actual holding the comic in your hand reading experience. So, this is great from that perspective. Yeah.
I have also, I've heard that, some people asked about that, but most people I heard that do read a lot of these, digital comics and stuff like that, well, at least the ones that are in the Marvel atmosphere generally just use the Marvel app to get all their digital comics, which I don't blame them for. I don't know if those are available on Kindle or not. They might be, but
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they aren't, then there's no reason for that person. If all you're reading is Marvel digital comics, probably don't need this because you can already get that on your phone.
You won't be able to get them on this. Yeah. But I'm talking about the folks that have actual purchased digital comics, because that's totally a thing you can do. The Marvel app is it's a subscription. You can access their entire back catalog through the app. But if you have already invested your time and energy into a digital comics collection via other means, via actual ebooks and that kind of thing, at one point in time, I backed a Humble Bundle because of something, and I got all of the published Attack on Titan books up to that point. There's 20 something of them. So I have a giant a giant backlog of these random manga that I just read them on my phone and that was fine, but this would be better for that. Some of them are in color, not all of them were. I guess actually it was quite a few that were black and white, but anyways, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Amazon did also update pretty much every other Kindle that they have as well with different things, but if you're interested in those, I'm not going to go through all the details on those. They're not massive enough upgrades, in my opinion, to really talk about. I just wanted to talk about this new color e-ink display because I have used color e-ink readers in the past, and they are great. It's like Caleb said, the really nice thing about these e-ink displays in general is it looks like paper. Like, it doesn't wear on your eyes to sit and stare and read for hours on end. You can do that just fine. The battery lasts forever on these things. They're just great, and the color ones just make it that much better because it just pops off the page a lot more. It looks like you're looking at a color book. It's great.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? It's the kind of thing that, like, you buy these e-readers, and this technology doesn't exactly get old. You know, like, I have a Nook from back when Barnes and Noble was still a major player in anything. And you know what? That thing is still a fantastic e-reader. Like, the refresh rate on the screen is not as fast as it could be. And I actually did get an email from Barnes & Noble a little while ago telling me that my device was no longer going to be able to access the Barnes & Noble, like, ebook stuff. Like, not even to download stuff that I'd previously purchased. And so it's all like, so download all your books if you want them. But, it's got an SD card slot on it. I can just load stuff onto a micro SD card and stick it in there and just read EPUBs. And it just does it,
Yep.
They did a good job with e-readers, because books, the whole advantage of a book is you buy the book, you own the book, you read the book, you can put it on a shelf and pull it off and whatever. It's just always there. And technology generally is like, it's more convenient, but less permanent in a lot of ways than the way things were before for almost every industry, except for kind of e-readers. Because the e-reader, you get it, you own it, you put stuff on it, it's just there, it works, and it just kind of, it's almost as permanent as actually having a physical book. So, that it's cool. I like e-readers. I'm a big, proponent for people. Yeah, like, if you read a lot of books, you should be getting yourself an e-reader, because don't just rely on the Kindle app on your phone or whatever, because it's an app. It could be taken away.
Yeah.
We already talked about that. That's just a license to read those books. That's not...
I mean, the thing I love about, like, ebooks and stuff like that is it like, I'm trying to make, like, the analogy that's coming to my head is it's almost like podcasting for books, because if you have access to the RSS feed and you download these podcasts, you have them at your disposal whenever, forever, as long as you have that file downloaded to your device. We can't take that away from you. Like, if you download this episode that you're listening to, we can't take it off your device. And we can't make it so you can't listen to that once it's downloaded. Same with these ebooks. Once you've got it downloaded to something, it's yours to keep. And you can, like, yes, you can update your e-reader if you really need to or want to, but you don't even have to do that because they last so long. The technology doesn't change enough to justify updating those devices on any sort of regular basis. So, and you can access the ebooks from pretty much any device you want to. You don't have to have an e-reader. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on your computer. You can do it on a tablet. And that's what's great about it. And so I love that the ebook industry is still, I think it's actually probably blown up even more than it ever probably would have because of all the digital devices that we have nowadays. And and it's super easy to publish an ebook, whereas getting books printed nowadays is really, I mean, it was always not the easiest thing in the world, but it's even more difficult in some cases now.
Print on demand actually makes printing a book fairly straightforward. And I will say, in some ways, it's probably too easy to publish an ebook.
That's true.
There's a lot of terrible ebooks out there that never should have seen the light of day. So,
well, to be fair, there's also a lot of terrible podcasts that never should have seen the light of day as well.
Yes, it's very true. You win some, you lose some. You got to take the bad with the good. It's okay.
Fair enough. All right. Well, let's go ahead and continue. We're going to get into the gaming side of things. And I guess we're talking about licenses. Why don't we go ahead and talk about this new segment that I have found out that Caleb wants to bring forward. So, Caleb, take it away.
Yes. So, following on with our last podcast where we talked about how you don't actually own the software that you purchase a license to use the software that somebody else owns, which honestly, I suppose kind of goes along with books as well and podcasts even. It's like, you downloaded this podcast, you're listening to this podcast. We can't take away your ability to listen to this podcast. We do technically own the content of this podcast, listener.
Yeah.
Just to be clear. And if you were to try and that would be a copyright violation if you were to then do something with the podcast that didn't fall under fair use without our permission. And so, yes, licenses kind of function in a similar way. But in an era of digital distribution of software and stuff like that, you never really owned the software. You purchased a license to use the software, but it's a lot easier for those licenses to get revoked if you're buying stuff on, say, Steam or the Xbox store or whatever the PlayStation store is called. And these digital storefronts. So, in an effort to give you options, if you want it to be more like it was in the past, where you buy the software, you download the software, and if the people that made the software then want to take the software away from you, they have to come to your house and smash your computer. That's what this segment is about. So, if you've been looking at Dragon Ball, this is Dragon Ball Z video games have a long and storied history of just straight up trash names. I was looking at a list of them earlier this week, and wow, that's a lot. I thought that Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which was kind of stylized as Fighters with a Z at the end, and instead of just being Dragon Ball Z. Anyways, the last major Dragon Ball fighting game that came out was kind of a weird name, but this is great. Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero. Which, yes, that is how it's punctuated. There's an exclamation point after sparking. I don't know why. Is this a Japanese thing? Anyways, new Dragon Ball fighting game. If you're aware of that, you've been looking at that, and you're kind of like, you know what? Maybe I want to give that a shot. But you don't want to purchase a game that is, played entirely online and fairly easy for the developer to revoke your ability to play the game or a storefront to shut down and you lose access to the game and that kind of thing. Then play this instead. If you go to GOG.com, where you can download the games DRM free, meaning that they are not going to require a connection to the internet, they have quite a good selection of classic SNK fighting games. So these are arcade games. These are, classic Nintendo games. Also stuff that came out for newer consoles like the PlayStation 2. And I believe the newest one that I saw they had on there was like a kind of a PS3, Xbox 360 era fighting game. But I don't think it actually launched for those consoles. I think it was an arcade game from that era. Anyways, SNK has a long and storied history of fighting games. They've made a lot of good ones. They've made some bad ones too. I'm sure there's some bad ones in there as well, but they have a pretty good selection on GOG. If you just want a new fighting game to play that you have never played before, okay, that's fine. Go to GOG, buy one of these. They're significantly cheaper than Sparking Zero, and you can download them to your computer, play them, do couch co-op with your friends, multiple controllers, whatever. That's all fine. And they're not going to be able to take it away from you. So there's that as an option. Secondary option was that there are some classic Dragon Ball arcade fighting games that, this obviously isn't the first fighting game based in the Dragon Ball universe. And if you are a Dragon Ball fan, but also happen to like playing a fighting game with your friends, okay, absolutely fine. I went and found some that are emulated on archive.org. However, some idiots keep DDoSing and performing attacks against archive.org. And so they're offline right now trying to solve their security issues. To those idiots, please stop being idiots. Like, of all of this websites to attack on the internet, archive.org, guys,
Seriously.
the only less deserving website on the planet that you could go after is Wikipedia. Like, archive.org has done nothing to anybody other than try to preserve the vast digital history of our species. And I cannot think of a more, worthwhile, laudable effort. And just leave them alone? Like, what the heck? Anyways, so if assuming that archive.org comes up, you can go on there and you can look, and there's a bunch of, again, classic arcade cabinet games, Dragon Ball fighting games and stuff like that. The one niggle with all of this stuff is that in order to play games with your friends, you are going to have to invite your friends over and sit down in front of the same computer with them and play. It's called a LAN party, listener. They're really fun. I highly recommend them. You get to share meat space with other people. It's pretty cool. You should definitely try it out. Highly recommended. So
it is
play
fun.
this instead of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. SNK games on GOG if you're just looking for a fighting game you've never played before. If you're looking specifically for Dragon Ball, there are options on archive.org. Hopefully they're back up soon. There you go.
I will say the LAN party's probably a little easier nowadays even than it was with those big old honking monitors before.
Heck
They're trying
yeah.
the monitors,
Heck
the PCs, finding a desk that can hold this monitor, multiple desks to hold them.
It was the dining room table. It was
always multiple
the dining room
tables. And then it's your dad's desk that was a desk made of oak,
solid hardwood, whatever.
Solid hardwood. So nowadays it's a flat screen. It's quick. Quick, nothing.
And let's be honest, nowadays, if it's a fighting game, you're going to be playing on the same thing anyways. So just have them bring a controller over that they can plug into your computer.
Exactly.
Couch co-op is a great thing. So, yep.
Much easier. Yep. And you got more delivery options.
Yes.
For food. So,
just
saying.
Freaking DoorDash anything these days.
So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and move on. We're going to talk about something. So Microsoft, they have settled the gamers' lawsuit. Listener, if you don't even know what this is, we actually talked about this. Okay, when was the announcement of buying ABK? It was 3 years ago? 2.
The announcement?
The announcement they were going to buy it.
Well, when was it finalized? Because it was a year and a half before.
I think it was 2022. You know what? I'm going to bring up this article real quick that's on rot.com.
Because it was finalized in, was it February?
So here we go. I found the article here. It says, a small group of recreational video game players from multiple U.S. states sued Microsoft in 2022 in an attempt to block Microsoft's $68 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard. So, and if we remember that was a thing. So, even though, reading this here, I'm going to read off the article here. They were talking about that the suit that they were talking about said that they were complaining that if Microsoft were to own Activision Blizzard, that they would just take all the games Activision Blizzard had and take it off everything and leave it on Xbox. Since then, Microsoft has not done that at all.
No.
In
fact, they've started putting all of their games on everything else.
But the case continued, and it said that the news of a settlement had arrived on, they call it The Wire, which viewed court documents related to the case. The terms of the settlement were not disclosed, but the lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice, meaning gamers cannot file a similar suit again. So, there it was. I it's not that big of news, but I was like, well, we reported on it back in 2022.
It's been a while. If
been
you
a while.
remembered this, listener, good job, because I didn't.
I didn't.
Good job. Yeah, no, it's, gamers that want it. Yeah. Anyway. So also that's happened, Xbox had a partner preview showcase that happened. And I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of give a quick rundown, listener, if you didn't know what had happened at this showcase. So I'm just going to go through some of these titles on here. So those of you that liked Alan Wake 2, you are now getting a DLC for the Lake House. Chronos, The New Dawn, which is a reveal trailer that you can take a look at. Kind of creepy looking if you want to take a look at that. Blindfire is another game. There was a teaser trailer. Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
It's the best
Enough said.
name
Enough
for
said right there.
Man, the Yakuza franchise needs to, I would say pick a tone, but they never have. Are we a hard-boiled crime syndicate game or a goofy, ridiculous, whatever nonsense game? They're not settling on one of those, listener, ever.
No, ever. So there's that. They talked about. Also, this one that I've actually kept my eye on, which is so interesting, and it's just because the art style. Mouse PI for Hire. This one is Mouse PI for Hire is a unique first-person shooter that faithfully captures the old-school animation style classic Mickey Mouse cartoons.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. Is
this basically just going to be the Great Mouse Detective, the video game? Because,
it's old school. We're talking,
so even older.
Willie old school. Black and white. And you should look up the trailer for this. It's called Mouse PI for Hire. It's
fun.
It's pretty funny. The next one, those of you that like Subnautica 2. That one was a reveal trailer that was there. Another one called Animal Well. And then Eden's Zero. That one there, those of you for the Konami published action games. Eternal Stranding. That's on there. They're saying for this one that there was created by developers who worked on Dragon Age, Assassin's Creed, and other games, so has some backing there. Mistfall Hunter is a Souls-like. They say Souls-like gameplay, so take a look at that. Wheel World. This is about ghost bikes.
Fun.
Yep. Wheel World. Phasmophobia. It's making its debut on Xbox. That's why they were talking about it.
Yeah.
The Legends of Babu. I believe that's Babu, Baboo.
Huh.
That one's heading to Xbox and PC here soon, 2025. Wu Chang, Fallen Feathers. That was on there. FBC Firebreak. That one's a 3-player co-op multiplayer game from Remedy Entertainment. So, So yeah, if you wanted to check any of those out, I would say you could, if you haven't seen anything on it, but you can check those out obviously on YouTube or anywhere that you see that. So, this event was really it was just game after game after game, and it wasn't any kind of fun little, hey, let's talk to this person. Hey, do you like Xbox? Yes, here's another trailer. It was just, here's a game. It's
just pile of trailers.
Yep. So, and there's those games that were talked about and announced. So if you want to take a look at those, feel free. Not too bad on there.
All
but
right.
I do suggest that Mouse PI. It's kind of like, it reminded me of when we first saw Cuphead, and we're like,
yeah,
what is this game?
Oh, yeah.
What is this game?
Let's be honest. I'm never going to play Cuphead, but I love that Cuphead exists.
Yes.
It's such a pretty game. It's so cool.
It is.
I've even played Cuphead.
Yeah. It's cool. And this Mouse PI looks like one of those things you might take a look at. So, all right. And looks like that's pretty much all the things we have on there. Unless, Landon, you have one more thing for us?
No.
Dang. What a pause.
Tense, like the
Just-
the weight.
I think if you could find a drum roll, that would be great to put right there. Just- no. All right, dear listener. We appreciate you listening to us this far. If you want to get a hold of us or have any questions or want us to talk about something or make fun of Caleb in any way, shape, or form, you can get a hold of us at our social media platforms. Also at callingalplatforms.com. You can also there might be a video. I'm not going to promise anything over at our YouTube channels over there.
There's
not. Nothing in the works. Nothing. Anyway, you can get a hold of us there. Take a look at the YouTube channel. All right, dear listener, have a good week.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Calling All Platforms is a production of Supporter Sound Studios. To learn more about how you can support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com/callingallplatforms.